Okay, guys, let's get straight to it. Breaking news from Rupert Lowe. I am today launching Restore Britain as a national political party. I think some of us seen this come in. What does it mean? I don't know. We'll just have to see how Bennaby reacts. Hopefully we're going to unite. But meanwhile, let's hear what Rupert has to say.
I have chosen to speak to you today from the farm because places like this represent what proper Britain is about. Hard work, responsibility, effort, duty, stewardship. This is the England I know, and this is the England that I love. On a farm, you don't think in election cycles or headlines or polling. You think in seasons, you think in generations, in what you leave behind to those who come after you. And that's why, here on the farm, I am now launching Restore Britain as a national political party. I'm now going to dedicate my life to finding, organising, funding, and providing hundreds of qualified candidates to present to the British people at the next general election. This process has already started, with invitations being issued to patriots in aligned political parties, Reform, the Conservatives, the SDP, Advance, and more. In local politics, we will work in partnership with localised political parties, such as Great Yarmouth First, that have the best interests of their residents at heart, combining our forces at the next general election. The men and women standing for Restore in that election will not be politicians, I promise you that. They will not be failed ministers. They will not be tainted by failures of the past. They will be from business, from the military, from science, from medicine, from education, from industry, representing real communities up and down the country. Every single one will be from well outside the existing political establishment, and every single one will understand the difficult decisions that need to be taken. Because there are no easy fixes. I'm not going to tell you comforting lies about the condition of our country. I have only ever been honest with the British people, and I will be straight with you now. What is necessary will be incredibly painful. But for the first time in a very long time, voters will have a genuine alternative which is truthful with them about the scale of what now has to be done. The first priority is to control who comes to our country, and more importantly, who stays in our country. Restore Britain will not just stop mass immigration, we will reverse it. Every single illegal migrant will be securely detained and then deported. The message will be unrelenting. If you are in this country without our permission, you will be removed. For the foreseeable future, far more people must leave Britain than arrive. If a foreign national is unable to speak English, lives in social housing, claims benefits, refuses to work, fails to integrate, commits crime, or even actively hates our way of life and wishes to do us harm, then they must leave or be made to leave. Restore Britain will make our communities safe again for women and children. That I promise you. If that means millions go, then millions go. We're constantly told that the economy needs vast swathes of low-skilled migrants. We know that's simply not true. What we need is to get millions of healthy Brits back into work. A radical overhaul of how welfare is delivered. Protecting those in genuine need, but not funding healthy shirkers to live off the back of hard-working men and women. If you can work, you must work. It really is that simple. Restore Britain will be abundantly clear. If you consistently refuse work, then you will lose your benefits. We will punish indolence, and more importantly, we will reward success. We will provide vast economic incentives for men and women to start businesses, generate opportunities, build wealth, and create self-sufficient families. Standing here today on the farm, I know exactly what it means to deal with energy bills, labour shortages, regulation, unproductive paperwork, planning restrictions, tax, and endless uncertainty. The state has definitively become the enemy of the people. Restore Britain will burn away suffocating taxes on work and enterprise. We will slash unnecessary regulation. We will dismantle bloated quangos and the overbearing HR culture. We must crush parasitic Britain. We will restore long-term, stable, logical policy so that businesses can plan and invest and grow again. But Restore Britain is about much more than numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about who we are as a nation and who we are as a people. Britain is not just an economy. Britain is not just an idea. Britain is not just a passport. Britain is a nation. Britain is a people, our people. And Restore Britain will never allow that to be erased. We will celebrate our Christian heritage and the identity that built and shaped this country. Responsibility, restraint, forgiveness, duty, and fairness. In short, a high-trust society. That will mean defending our culture. That will mean resisting the relentless creep of radical Islam. That will mean banning the burqa, outlawing Sharia law, blocking cousin marriages, and reimposing our Christian-based rule of law. A Restore Britain government would legislate to ensure that no halal or kosher slaughter on British soil. This is Britain, and we will do things our way. This political party now exists for one reason: to restore Britain, to make it a better, safer, and more prosperous place for British men and women to raise their families. It will be difficult and it will be painful, but I assure you, it is possible. I hope you will consider joining me on this journey and becoming a member of our party. It is our country. It is now our collective responsibility to act. Together, we will restore Britain. Thank you.
Wow, powerful stuff. Words I've been waiting to hear since 1976. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know what it means for Advance UK. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, let's have a look at the letter that Rupert sent out. Let me get out of the way. Okay, there's a letter. I don't know if you can see it. I'll read it. Dear Paul, a video message from me. He gives a link to what we just saw. I have thought long and hard on what I am about to say to you, and I have come to a stark conclusion. There is simply no other way. This is the only choice. I was elected to Parliament in 2024. The good people of Great Yarmouth elected me. Not for 1 second in Westminster have I forgotten that. I was sent there to fight for change, not to do things how they've always been done, not to accept more and more relentless decline. I was sent there to try and fix it, and I have tried. I have honestly tried, and it almost got me sent to prison. I have used every tool available to a backbench member of Parliament and more. Parliamentary questions, committees, motions, speeches, petitions, everything and anything. And sometimes we have succeeded. More often we have not. The system simply will not shift. But we have tried, and we have tried again and again and again. And nothing has shaped my thinking more than our crowd-funded independent inquiry into the Pakistani Muslim rape gangs, an inquiry that should never have had to exist, an inquiry that I created only because the political system itself would not act. That inquiry has been the most sobering experience of my public life, not just because of the awful crimes and not just because of the horrific suffering, but because of what it exposed about the way this country is governed. Again and again we heard the same story at our hearings over the last fortnight. Warnings raised, concerns logged, evidence submitted, and then nothing happened. Not because people did not know, but because acting would have been difficult, because acting would have caused controversy. It would have inflamed racial tensions. It came with personal risk, professional risk. It would have meant being labelled an Islamophobe or a racist. So people did nothing. They let the abuse continue all over the country. Even worse, many officials were even involved in the rapes themselves. We must call it what it is. It was and still is to this day the rape of Britain. They can call me Islamophobic, racist, or whatever else. Let me be abundantly clear with you all tonight. I do not care. I would rather be labelled a racist than enable rape. Our inquiry will not just talk, we are going to act. A target list has already been identified of rapists, police officers, social workers, council officials, politicians. Will take out private prosecutions and civil litigation. We will be relentless in our pursuit. Our aim is very straightforward: to put people in prison. I reached a point sifting through evidence, listening to survivors, reading documents that should make every public servant hang their head in shame, and it became impossible to ignore the bigger truth. The problem is not confined to one department, it is not confined to one policy area, it is not confined to one political party. It seeps through the entire governing culture of this country. A culture of risk avoidance, a culture of reputational management, a culture of endless consultation and permanent deferral, a culture where process matters more than outcome, where responsibility is spread so thin that nobody is ever held accountable. That is why I have come to this conclusion. Britain does not need tinkering minor reform around the edges, not carefully curated cosmetic changes, just this time with the same failed ministers wearing a turquoise rosette. It needs restoration, full-scale restoration, a restoration of courage, a restoration of responsibility, a restoration of a political culture that exists to serve the public, not simply to protect itself. I have tried to work within the system and I will continue to fight inside Parliament, but I can no longer pretend that the existing political structures are capable of delivering the scale of change this country now needs at the pace that is now required. The will is simply not there. That is why today I am launching in Restore Britain as a national political party. At the next general election, we will put forward hundreds of qualified candidates from outside the existing political establishment. They will not be failed ministers, they will not be politicians. They will be men and women who have succeeded in their own fields and want to deliver a better Britain. There will be an entirely different way of doing politics. Restore Britain will be the national umbrella organisation, and we will work with local parties to deliver local priorities for local people. Patriots from Reform, Conservative, Advance, the SDP and more are welcome to join us, and invitations have already been issued. Great Yarmouth First will be the pilot. Our sister party based here in Great Yarmouth, focusing purely on implementing local change. We will run a joint ticket at the election, and I will be the candidate here in Great Yarmouth once again. I hope other local political parties will come together and help us fight for a better Britain. If we can get this right, we can transform British politics forever, forge in an entirely new way. I simply could no longer justify asking you to place your faith in a system that has repeatedly shown it cannot or will not fix itself. It needs a serious program of national restoration, and that is exactly what Restore Britain is being built to deliver. First, immigration. Restore Britain will not manage mass immigration. We will not just stop mass immigration, we will reverse it. Illegal entry will mean detention and removal, not years later, not after endless legal paralysis, all funding the parasitic legal profession, not after being absorbed into a permanent asylum industry. If you enter this country illegally, a Restore Britain government will remove you within 24 hours of arrival. If you are living in the country illegally, you will be detained and detained, and you will be deported. They all must go. This is absolutely non-negotiable. Restore Britain would abolish the entire asylum system. No more asylum seekers. The scam will end. We will round up every third world criminal who has broken into our country, and we will remove them without compensation, without delay, without apology. Do that and the boats stop overnight. Restore Britain has already published the most comprehensive deportation policy ever produced in Britain. We are now seeking the power to implement it. Legal immigration will almost come to a complete halt. We will close off entire visa routes from countries which are proven to provide us with criminals, sex pests and illegal migrants. Net zero immigration is weak, weak, weak. It is insufficient, it is too late. The barbarians are already in the gates. For the foreseeable future, far more people must leave Britain than arrive. A country simply cannot survive without shared expectations and a shared culture. Language matters, contribution matters, respect for our law matters. All of that matters. If a foreign national is living in Britain and unable to speak English, refuses to work, claims benefits, lives in social housing, hates our way of life, or even wants us to do us harm, they must leave or be made to leave. I make no apologies for saying this. Millions must go. Welfare. We must always protect British people who genuinely cannot work. That is our moral duty. But the current system has failed. It is stagnant. It writes people off. It traps people. It teaches too many citizens that dependency is far safer than ambition. Restore Britain will rebuild welfare around participation, rehabilitation and expectation. If you can work, you must work. If you can train, you will train. But if you are able and repeatedly refuse to engage, you will lose your benefits. Restore Britain would remove access to benefits for every single foreign national living in Britain. They would lose access to universal credit, social housing, disability benefits, everything. It will all go. If you were a guest in our country, you will support yourself. If you cannot do that, you must leave. I make no apologies for saying so. Now to the economy. Because Britain is strangling itself, suffocating, dying, we punish it, we punish effort, we punish risk, we punish small businesses, we punish productivity, we punish success. It all must change. We regulate endlessly and then wonder why nothing gets done. Restore Britain will slash taxes on work and enterprise. Income, dividend, corporation, VAT, stamp duty, thresholds must rise. Tax must fall. We will scrap IR35. I hate IR35. It destroyed my business. We will have double the VAT threshold. We will burn down the regulatory frameworks that crushed small businesses. We will end the HR culture that paralyzes or blackmails employers. We will restore long-term political stability because businesses cannot invest if the rules change every year. Farmers cannot plan if policy shifts with every consultation. Manufacturers cannot expand if planning and energy frameworks remain incoherent. We will back domestic energy production. We will back the reindustrialization of Britain. We will back British farming. This is a national restoration program because the deeper problem in Britain is not only financial. It is cultural. We have slowly lost confidence in ourselves as a nation. We have become reluctant to defend the things that used to bind our society together. Restore Britain will be unapologetic on this. Britain is not simply an economic zone. It is not just a collection of institutions. It is not just a legal jurisdiction. It is a nation, a people, a home, our own, with a shared culture, shared history, shared expectations. Restore Britain will openly recognise the Christian heritage that shaped this country's moral and civic foundations. Responsibility, duty, restraint, forgiveness and fairness. Those values create a high-trust society. We must support parents as the primary decision makers in their children's lives. We will protect family life. We will support British men and women to raise their family in a country they are proud to call home. We will restore that high trust culture. We will uphold one legal system, one rule of law, one standard, no parallel justice, no religious exceptions. British law must remain supreme. Restore Britain will end the creeping Islamification of Britain. Halal and kosher slaughter will be banned on British soil. The burqa will be outlawed. Sharia courts will be made illegal. Unfettered immigration from Islamic countries will end. Britain is a Christian country, and under a Restore Britain government, it will remain a Christian country. We will govern with confidence. We will not apologise for wanting Britain to remain cohesive and to remain British. Restore Britain is not offering you a miracle cure. Our programme is serious and honest. It will require discipline, it will require courage, it will require patience, and it will require the willingness to accept short-term discomfort in exchange for long-term national restoration. Because it will be painful, difficult decisions will be taken, but I will always be honest with you about the extent of the task ahead. Excuse me, but let me end where I began. I am not pessimistic about Britain. I would not be standing here if I were. This country still has extraordinary people, the best people on this planet with incredible skill, decency and intelligence. What it lacks is the leadership prepared to act for the long term and to tell the brutal truth about what will require in the coming months and years. So today is the beginning of a necessary journey, and I ask you to help build it, to help restore confidence, national purpose to British politics, because Britain is our country, it is our people, and it is our home, and it is now our collective responsibility to restore it. To Restore Britain members, without your support, the progress we have made over the last 12 months would have not been possible. This is the next step on our journey together, and I want to sincerely thank you all for your backing. This is a team effort, so please tell family, friends to join our party. Recent polls have shown us on almost 10%, even without a real party. We now have one. I truly believe that we can win the next election. There is a lot of work ahead, but I am feeling more determined than ever. We will soon send more information about standing for the party, forming local branches, organising in your communities, so stay tuned for more detail. We can do this. Thank you for your support. As always, Rupert. Oh, breathe. Okay, guys, you got it. I'm going to get this out now and have a think about what Rupert said, but already I can see whose army I'm joining. You've been listening to Paul Morris reporting to you on this historic day, and it is historic.